Hello, hello. Welcome back to Horse Center tonight. Thank you for tuning in. And tonight, of course, we have our knowledgeable and talented Swiss Army Shawn, as always. And we have a special guest tonight, Eclipse Award nominated jockey who has absolutely taken the Mid-Atlantic by storm, John Hiraldo. Welcome to the show, John.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
And congratulations is in order. I know you won a nice starter allowance tonight at Penn National for a very special person, one of the coolest people I know, Miss Chelsea Moisey. So congrats.
Thank you so much.
All right. And you're driving home right now, actually. So that's why it's a little dark for anyone who's having trouble seeing, but hopefully you can see enough to get the idea of what's going on. It's better than last night anyway. So all right, John. So I know that you grew up wanting to be a jockey and that you've got some racing going on in your family. You want to tell us a little bit about your family and how you got interested in racing?
Yes, my dad, he was my role model growing up. He rode for plenty of years and I just always looked up to him, and just thanks to my dad is why I became a jockey, and I always wanted to be one.
Very cool. And you also have is Angel Cruz? Is he some kind of relation to you?
Yes, he's my cousin.
Okay, very cool.
I have him,
Also,
and then I have my uncle, Luis Batista. He's a jockey too.
Very cool. So it's kind of everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. And something that you and my husband have in common is that you're both from Puerto Rico, but neither one of you went to the famous riding school there that we know so many Puerto Rican jockeys go to. With my husband, he never had a plan to be a jockey. He was kind of scared of horses, and he only decided to become a jockey after moving to the States and grooming for a little while and realizing I can make a lot more money if I get brave enough to get on these guys. So what's your story? Why did you decide to opt out of the Puerto Rican riding school there?
Well, actually, I was living in Florida with my family, and we did get an application. We filled it out, and then that same year, Hurricane Maria came. So that point, we had to kind of figure out a new plan. So then I just had to go my own way, with my dad, and we went to a farm in South Carolina, and then breaking babies there, Ellery Training Center. I broke some babies there, and then I just went on from there and taught, learned on how to handle horses and break babies.
Well, obviously it worked out just fine. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to overcome the difficulty of the hurricane there, which definitely, big hurdle in Puerto Rico for quite some time. But
Yes.
So I know you also worked for Brittany Russell for a while. You want to tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that experience?
Oh, it was a great experience. I'll always thank her and Sheldon, for always being there and teaching me a lot. She always gave me that hand that I needed, for the people at the racetrack to see me breezing horses and getting out of the gate and just getting stronger on them and letting everyone know that I wanted to ride. So working for her was a great help for me.
Yes, definitely. I actually have a close friend of mine who works for her currently getting on horses, and she just cannot say enough nice things about her. She seems like such a genuine person, ready to help people out for sure. So, John, I know your first year riding, you won 81 races. That is the most wins that any apprentice won that year. As I said, you were nominated for the Eclipse Award. That was such a solid field. I mean, literally any one of you three could have won that award. It was such a toss-up in my mind. You guys are all so amazing, still continuing your success. What was that like for you both, like mentally and professionally, to get that type of recognition right away for your efforts in riding?
Oh, it was great. Win or not, I felt like a winner. Just getting able to be there and flying over to California, seeing Santa Anita. It was all a first experience for me, but being there and just to be nominated it was great. Like I said, I felt like a winner, and it was one of the biggest days of my life.
For sure. It looked like a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it was.
Now, part of the reason that you won so many races is because you just worked your tail off. I mean, you've set yourself up in an area where there are plenty of tracks within driving distance. You traveled to so many of them. I saw you rode up to 3 tracks in one day sometimes, which just blows my mind. I mean, logistically, how did you do that? Like, who did the driving? Like,
Me, I did it.
wow, that's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, I did it. I worked in the morning at Laurel, and then I rode that same day, and then I rode early over there, and then I drove over here to Penn, and I rode early at Penn. I think it was like first, second race, and then I had to go to Charlestown ride the last.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
you're
long
tough.
day.
Yeah, I give you props. I mean, I'm a mom of 4 and I feel like I'm not half as busy as you are. So good for you. Now, you mentioned Charlestown. I know that's the bull ring. For anyone who doesn't know, that means it's not the traditional mile or so long track that most tracks are. What was that like with the tighter turns and the smaller track? I mean, did you find it easier or harder? Did you enjoy the bull ring?
In the beginning, it was a little complicated because I had already gotten myself used to riding at the bigger tracks, Laurel and Penn and, Pimlico, Delaware, mile tracks. You ride very different, you know. But yeah, like I said, when I went to Charleston the first time, I had already been riding enough at the bigger tracks, so I had to kind of ride like they ride. I had to kind of
Yeah.
switch up mindset and ride like they ride. And then when I got back to the bigger tracks during the day, I'd have to ride like these guys ride. I couldn't just focus on how to ride at one track because if not, you get confused because it's way different. But once I got adapted to it, it was the same thing. I was just riding.
Wow, good for you. We've got a comment here from Yasmin Figueroa. God bless my baby. I assume you know who that
Mama,
is.
my mom,
For sure.
mom.
And John, so you mentioned as far as you adjusted quickly to Charlestown. I mean, obviously, you're a very talented rider. You can ride any type of horse, doing any type of style, but it really seems like you shine on those speed horses. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Ever since I started, I always said I like the speed one. I like to feel like I can go to the lead and control the pace and then just let them catch me, and hopefully not let them catch me, but just go and control the pace and then just finish up strong. I like the speed horses.
For sure. Well, you do great on them. I mean, like I said, you can ride any type of horse, but when you're on a speed horse, I'm feeling very confident.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of your mom, when you first started, your mom wasn't exactly pushing for you to be a jockey, but now she's your number one fan. Can you talk about that a little bit?
You're right. I know inside of her, there was a part of her where she wanted me to ride because she knew it was my dream, but she had that darkness in her and she didn't want me to ride because she knew how dangerous it was. And my dad went through a lot of accidents, and she was there to take care of him. And, she didn't want me to go through that. But I always told her, I said, Mom, I'm going to ride, and here I am, and I knew she was just going to get used to it. And now she's my number one fan.
Now, last year you were awfully successful at Oaklawn. You want to talk about that experience, and are you going back this year?
Oh, it was great. And yes, I am. My plans are going back. Yeah, this winter. First time as a journeyman, but I'm gonna go for it all and work hard. But yeah, it was a great experience. It was unbelievable. I think one of the best experiences of my life riding there. Just the environment. People love horse racing there, and it was just fun. Really fun.
Is this right now what your plan's going to be, to do Oaklawn then and then come back to the east and keep bouncing around?
Yes, I mean right now for the winter, my plans are going back to Oaklawn. From there, I guess I'll choose later on, hopefully come back to Delaware. Why not? I've been doing pretty good, but maybe I get an opportunity to go up to Kentucky where some doors open up, with some bigger trainers over at Oaklawn and then just go on from there. But right now, yeah, I'm sticking to going this winter.
And then can you tell us the difference between all 3 tracks or 4 tracks that you're running right now? Penn, Delaware, Parks, Laurel. How do you ride differently with those tracks?
I mean, not much different. You know, the only one, like I said, it's maybe Charlestown because of the 4.5 and the, you know, route races. You got the sharper turns and not every horse handles it. But other than that, they're all mile tracks, you know, so you just kind of ride them the same. Just depends on which you're on, you know, and it just doesn't change much with the bigger racetracks.
Speaking of Charlestown, you said all the people you're related to. You're not related to Christian Hiraldo at all?
No, not at all. Just same Puerto Rican last name, you know, just the culture, but no, not related.
And you're both good on speed horses?
Yeah, he's a good rider. Very good rider. Charlestown.
We got another comment. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Just another comment real quickly here from Joel Hiraldo. Better than me. Love you, John.
Dad. He says I'm better than him.
What about not all the tracks you run at have the turf, but what do you think about the turf? Do you like the turf?
Well, I like it a lot. You know, in the beginning, it was a little complicated to get used to it because it's not the same at all. But once you get used to it, you like it. You know, when the horses tend to relax and they kick, you know, it's unbelievable. Grass horses, dirt horses, you know, it's very different. But I like it a lot. You know.
Now, what about the Poly? Have you had a chance to ride the Poly?
Never.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I'd like to, but never ridden it.
Cool.
Is there any distance that you prefer that you're like, oh, this is the one I like the most?
Never really thought about that. You know, never really sat down and thought about that. I don't mind sprinting. You know, I like sprinting. I mean, like I said, just going to the front but I mean, it just, like I said, it more depends more of the horse, but never really thought of a certain distance that I prefer.
Now, John, your first race that you won when you broke your maiden, it looked like you could not be beat that day. You were riding one that was 1-9, but there was an incident breaking out of the gate that kind of cost the horse its race, unfortunately. But you came back later that day and won one that paid almost $70. You want to tell us a little bit about that feeling of breaking your maiden?
Yeah, that day I really thought that first horse was just going to win. You know, I said, stay with this horse. He was much the best on paper. But like you said, things happen, you know, broke out of the gate. If I'm not mistaken, I lost both my irons. You know, I kind of just messed my whole race up. But I got a little frustrated going in the room. I'm like, damn, I want to win. You know, I thought I was going to win. But then I came back later on in the day. I rode that one race confident, you know, and I just went out there and win. You know, he was 30-1. And, you know, you just have to ride every horse with confidence. You know, that's what taught me to just ride everything confident, favorite or not.
Yeah, that's key. We've got another comment here from Enrique Zapata. Here, this kid will be the future of racing, up-and-coming rider, great work ethic, bilingual, great student of the sport, and an even better human being. It has been a pleasure to work for him. Well, that's wonderful. And yeah, I mean, you seem like you've really got a solid head on your shoulders. Clearly, the work ethic is on point with riding all these different tracks all the time, working in the morning. Absolutely. I have kind of a more personal question for you. We spoke about Chelsea earlier, who I absolutely adore. What a fabulous person. But you guys have a close relationship. My husband and I both, you know, are on the track as well. So what is it like for you when you ride for her? Is it more pressure because you're like, oh no, if things don't go the way we want, when I come home, it's going to be more drama? Or is it less pressure, like she's going to be more understanding that things happen? I mean, what's that like?
In the beginning, yeah, a little bit of pressure, but now that, you know, I don't really get much instructions from her. You know, she knows I'm going to go out there, and she knows I always study my races. So if she gives me a plan or not, unless it's like some very specific from an owner or from, you know, but from her, not really. You know, I kind of know most of her horses, so I just study my races, and I'm already going out there with my plan. So not really that much pressure anymore. Used to, but not now. Right. It's just
well, it helps that you guys are both very talented at your job, so you can pretty much trust each other to do what needs to be done. But how did you and Chelsea meet? When did you guys meet?
We met last year here at Delaware. We met, if I'm not mistaken, I rode a horse in the race. It wasn't hers. She had one in the race. I rode one for somebody else. And then going back to the paddock, we were just talking about how the horses in the race, it was just a cheap race. We just said the horses were all the same. They were just cheap horses. And then after that, we didn't really talk much, but I went back in the room, finished my riding, and then we kind of reached out to each other on Facebook, and then we just talked, and then we went on from there. I was working in Delaware a couple times, so when I came one of the mornings to Delaware, I went by her barn, and then we really just met at the track.
Right. The rest is history. Well, you guys are adorable. I love seeing you on social media. So happy for both of you. Chelsea, love you. You need to come on the show soon. We absolutely would love to have you.
She told me. Sorry to interrupt you. She told me earlier. She said, "You got to get me on the show."
Oh, of course.
Here we go. We can make it happen.
We would love to have Chelsea on here. She's great. Oh, and here we've got another comment here from Willie Martinez. Now he's chiming in. I heard nothing but great things about John. Hope you continue your success. Ride smart, ride safe. Best of luck. Absolutely. For sure.
One of the best.
Yeah. Now, a really exciting moment for both you and Chelsea happened this last October, where you both got to win your first stake race together on a horse, Red Hot Mess. Tell us a little bit about that race and that day.
Oh, it was special. She had won the men's special weight first time out, and then we just always thought Philly could go long, so we just worked hard on her and put some air under her, and then we put her in the stakes race going long for the first time. But we were confident, the way she was working was incredible. She went off as a long shot, but we were confident that, Philly was going to run a good race. And it was just special. It was my first stakes race and her first stakes race, so they both came at the same time, the same day. So it was very nice. It was special.
That's awesome. So happy to hear it. And yeah, Chelsea and I go back a few years because, as I mentioned before we started the show, she was an assistant trainer for Buff Bradley for several years down here at Tampa. So she's definitely, she learned from the best, and now she's on her own and has tons of success. Oh, we got another comment here from Joel. Is it Joel or Joel?
Joel.
Joel. Okay. All right. See, Willie's brother is Joel from Puerto Rico. He hates it when people call him Joel. So that's always my assumption. But
he's more
Willie.
Joel in Spanish.
Right.
The same thing.
And then from Paul Figueroa, my champion, very proud of you. God has great blessings for your future. Getting a lot of love here. A lot of people respect you and wish you the best. So that's great.
So besides family, was there any other jockeys that kind of took you under the wing and kind of helped you?
Yeah, I mean, as I always grew up, when I started riding, it was a lot of my dad's friends, But once I started working at the track, starting to ride and working for Brittany, like we talked about, and then a lot of jockeys like Xavier Perez, John Basono, they were good. They were people who were always talking to me, and just being there for me, till now.
Was there ever that jockey that you shared a room with that you kind of got starstruck with, or because you've been around since a little kid, it never really happened?
Not really. No, not really.
And John, I know you're left-handed, right?
Yes.
Do you feel that's any? Well, I try to research the episodes ahead of time. I'm not stalking you, I promise.
I know. I'm joking.
Do you feel that that's any kind of advantage in racing, or?
Oh, I love going left. I feel like sometimes I have to, but most of the time, a lot of horses I think respond to the left, so it helps me. But I don't think it's more of an advantage. It's just I'm just left-handed. But it did cost me a little bit in the beginning when I started riding to make my left hand get stronger. So that's why I don't think it was more of an advantage, because I would do everything with my left hand, but whipping wise, it took me a minute to get stronger with it.
Sure. Now, for you, what do you think is the hardest part about being a jockey?
The hardest part? Well, one, I mean, for me and for other riders, the weight, some riders it's not as hard, but some jockeys, me personally, I control my weight, just try and keep my weight down for race days, and that's maybe one of the hardest parts for me and for other riders, to just control your weight and be right on point with that, and then other than that, it's just, you got to have the work ethic, and you can't be lazy. I think it's, for some people, you win races, you want to just lay back and stay at home, but one of the hardest things is just that even if you win, you just got to be out there working off every single day,
Sure. And what's your
Do you
favorite
like
thing about being a jockey? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
My favorite,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the adrenaline and then winning. Winning's the best thing, but I just love the adrenaline of it. Getting on horses every day, the adrenaline, going fast, it's just my favorite thing. And then winning.
Of course.
Perry Oots just said that yesterday. There's nothing like winning a horse race. It's totally different than everything else. Can you, now that you kind of said the same thing, can you explain that a little bit? What is different about winning a horse race than any other thing that you win at?
Oh, it's just special, let's just like, you got to go through different horses, you got to get your way through, you get dirty, you win or not on a favorite or on a long shot, just crossing that finish line first is just unbelievable. Before I started riding, one of the jockeys told me, Xavier Perez, I rode my first race and I finished 4th. And I said, man, I loved it. I want to ride again. And he said, wait till you cross the finish line first. a cheap race, allowance, stakes, whatever. You cross that wire first, and it's just, you don't think about anything else around you. You just think about you and that horse winning the race.
At what point in the race, on a lot of races, do you know if you've won or lost a race?
Sometimes down the lane, if your horse just lets you know that he's, it just depends the horse. Some horses just let you know you're already winning once you hit the half-mile pole. Some horses just let you know when they turn for home and they switch leads, they just, you just got a horse is ready to run under you, so it's more of the horse, he gives you that feeling, that feeling thanks to the horse.
And now you've done both. Do you prefer day racing or night racing?
Day racing. Not much of a problem. Day racing.
I think that's universal. Have we ever had someone say night racing, Shawn? I don't think so.
No, not really. Well, some say they don't care, but other than that, yeah, it's day racing or they don't care.
And
is that just so you can get your workout in, work, and then be done with your day?
Sometimes. I don't really mind riding at night. If I know I got a shot and I can get out there and win, winning, like I said, winning's the best thing in the world. So it could be a cheap race at night, but if I know I'm going to win, or if I have an idea that I'm going to win and I'm on the favorite or on the, why not? Let's go. But yeah. I don't really have a preference, but I don't mind day race.
Anytime is a good time to win. And we've got another comment here from Kathy Ortiz. Watching you chase your dreams and making them come true is just very inspiring. It's true. We see with some riders, it takes them a while to gain success, and other riders, they come out and do better sooner. But you've just had an absolutely catastrophic rise in the industry. It's very inspiring. I love watching you ride.
Thank you so much.
What's been the hardest part from going from an apprentice to a journeyman?
Oh, you just got to work harder. It changes up a little in the beginning. Your business kind of slows down because, a lot of trainers, they ride you because of that weight, the advantage you get of the weight. And once you lose your bug, you just become a journeyman just like the others. So it's more like you against them. So they'll look more for the more experience and the more, exactly, the more experienced riders. But just the hardest part is just, you got to work even harder. If you work 10 times harder than you do as a bug boy, because you don't have that weight, you got to demonstrate that you can win races too without that advantage of the weight.
So you've done so well in 2021 and now 2022. Do you have any goals in mind for 2023 or things you'd like to hit?
Just I just want to be better every day. I just want to make myself better every day, be better than I was yesterday, be better than I was last year as a bug. I just want to make my way up to the top in demonstrating, that I can ride, and then just get out there, and then just, demonstrate that I can do it. Just make my way to the top as much as I can.
Absolutely.
And you made it no secret that you want, like every other jockey, you want the Kentucky Derby and all that kind of stuff.
That's what I mean. I just want to make my way up to the top, and I want to go up there. A goal, like an actual goal right now. I think that's it. Just make my way up to the top. Slowly but surely.
Oh, you're well on your way. I'm sure we'll see you there.
Thank you. Working hard.
All right. You got anything else, Shawn?
No, that's all I got. I met you at Penn, and I'm glad you came on the show, and hopefully I'll see you around, and we'll get you on the show again, and we'll get your fiance on as well.
Yes. I knew that where I had met you at. When I first saw you, I was like, I've seen him before. That's my question. Penn, you're right.
Yep, it was Penn National. Yep.
I remember.
Yeah, because you originally messaged us about the horse racing radar pants, and that's when everything was going on with horse racing radar. Yep. Yeah. Which anytime you want to wear Horse Racing Today pants, we're totally open for it.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Willie's got some good people who do the logo, so I'll put you in touch with him.
Okay, good. Very good.
I haven't seen Chelsea in a couple of years because, she's gone off on her own, no longer coming down here with Buff. But Chelsea, congratulations. I love watching all of your success as well. You guys are a true power couple, and so happy to have you on here. Thanks so much for coming on, and we will have you soon, Chelsea. Definitely contact me. We've got another comment here. A really great guest. Love the show. Thank you, Terry Hay.
Thank you, Terry.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We know you're busy. We appreciate you taking the time to come and spend a minute with us, and wish you all the success.
Thank you so much for having me, guys, and hope you have a good night. And any other time you need me, we'll be here.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Take
John.
care.
Thank you.
All right. Aha, got you again. Oh, he's so nice, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we talked a little bit, and then I met him at Penn, and yeah, just outstanding young rider, and just as nice as can be.
Oh yeah, definitely has a great head on his shoulders, and Chelsea, she's amazing. So anyone that she's going to be hooked up with in life, you figure they're going to be fabulous, just like she is. So happy for both of them. Glad to see them just kicking butt out there. Awesome, love it.
Yeah, and he knows what he wants. He's got his dream, and he's going for it. So hopefully he succeeds.
Absolutely. All right. So as far as racing news goes, we have a couple fun things here. Well, first of all, this makes me extremely happy. I'm all about seeing horses run past their 3-year-old year. It gets more rare all the time, I feel like. But we have this announcement that regardless of what happens for the Breeders' Cup, Nest will continue racing into the 4-year-old year, which I love. So, yay. That's exciting, right?
Yeah, that's definitely exciting. We always want them to, as long as they're healthy and sound, definitely, the more racing, the better, because then you can follow these tremendous careers. And, you just hope that something kind of like with what's going on with Latruska, she ain't herself, that they kind of catch it before they start tailing the other way.
Sure. And something else that I find super interesting, actually, Rich sent this over. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even see this, but this is awesome. So Nest, actually, she won the Beldame Stakes, which she is the progeny of Beldame, multiple generations later, which is pretty rare. It's not like Northern Dancer where it's like, okay, great, related to Northern Dancer. Okay, who cares? Everyone is. This is a pretty rare thing. And she is descended from the horse that she just won this big race that's named after that horse. So, cool little full circle moment. We love those here on Horse Racing Today.
Yeah, that is cool. I wonder how often that actually happens, or how unoften that happens.
Well, for this race, it's very rare because Beldame does not have much out there. She turned out to not be the most successful broodmare, unfortunately, but she still has, some horses out there that, back in the line have her in their breeding. So this is one of the very few times that this has happened for that particular race. So Congratulations, Ness, and we will be so excited to see you run again next year. And now we've got not as fun of a story. Here we go again with this Lukas Classic drama. Will it ever end?
No.
This has been the craziest race, let me tell you. One thing after another. Well, so we all know about the ride that happened with Sunny Leone and the saddle slipping, and then, but were the shoes, the toe grabs, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Apparently it has brought enough attention that HISA is now getting involved and is apparently reviewing the pictures, reviewing all of the information that they can get their hands on to determine if Ness had toe grabs on the front feet, which is no longer permitted under the HISA rules. So
you mean Hot Rod Charlie, right?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
You were on a roll with Ness, so that's all.
I know. I'm sorry, and my internet is like freaking out on me. Can you hear me? Like everything is stopped for me. It's like
I hear you, but the thing was spinning. But you're good.
Okay, all right, we're good. I can't really see you, but you're there. I mean, you're frozen. But okay, I'm glad it's still working. Fingers crossed. But
So yeah, it's just another one. A couple days, and then you're gonna have a rolling, and then you're probably gonna have all these appeals, and yeah.
I mean, it happens. I mean, I guess I'm glad that they are looking into it and seeing. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to be able to determine this. I mean, I'm assuming they're probably going to talk to the farrier. They're going to look at records, look at pictures, of course, but
it's also the problem. The person at the track is supposed to check all that.
Right.
If that was the case, I mean, somebody should be getting penalized there too, that they left them race.
Sure.
That's the number one fall there. And then you're looking at pictures, and then you got to decide if they're doctored or not. I don't know.
I know.
I don't know enough. I don't know enough about that stuff to know how you would know if it's doctored or not.
The people who took the pictures, which are professional horse racing photographers, they have already come out making multiple statements saying they did not doctor the pictures. The pictures that are out there, they're taken as is. Nothing has been done to them. But I mean, and it's also true that, shadows and whatnot can happen. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's
and why would a professional photographer doctor with them? I don't believe that at all. I mean,
of course not.
Unless they have some personal thing, but I don't see any of that.
Don't.
So so I don't see that. So I just don't know how you figure out what's what here. I mean, I think the failure number one just starts with that horse was allowed to run. If he does have the toe grab on, the horse was allowed to get out to the track and run with them on, which shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's definitely the big issue. I guess stay tuned. We'll see what happens there. Got another comment here from Kathy Ortiz. Definitely interview Chelsea. Great person, great talent. This is true. Yes, we love Chelsea. And we've got a comment here from Sean Patrick Nolan. How would both the vet and the blacksmith who checks every race miss this? Head scratcher. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm dubious. I find it incredibly hard to believe, but you never know. Things happen. I mean,
I would say, I mean, they shouldn't miss this, but I would say probably because how many times do they just look at something and everything's 100% right?
Right.
So you're probably just one of those, when you do your 9-to-5 job where you're like, yep, and just totally skipped over it. You know what I mean? It's people's habits.
Yeah, it does.
But I mean, it is their job, and they shouldn't do it. But it happens.
Well, and you also wonder too about the trainer. I mean, if this did happen, did the trainer make an intentional choice to break the rule? Did the farrier accidentally put the wrong shoe on and nobody noticed? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many questions and so many liabilities there on.
Yeah,
what
and
really
of course,
happened and why.
Yeah, Doug O'Neill has come out saying absolutely not, didn't happen. Period. End of story. We'll see what HISA is able to determine. I don't know. This is just a mess. I'm so tired of hearing about this race already, and who knows when it will all be over. But here we go.
Yeah, there's so many races, and then you just hear about this one time in and time out, just for different things that happen.
Yeah, there's more drama in this one race than like the whole rest of the year combined. But hopefully soon we'll have it all. Hopefully it'll be all wrapped up before Breeders' Cup. We've got a month left. Come on,
At least it wasn't At least it wasn't a Kentucky Derby race this time.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, pretty much only diehard racing fans were here to witness this catastrophe.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing that we don't like to see, don't want to see. So let's get it all straightened out. Let's learn from it more than anything else and move forward with the lesson that came from this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, you would be able to speak more on this. If he did have him on, did it really help him win? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I have to, back in the day when I was training, we always had toe grabs on, but I was training over, deeper tracks with looser dirt. I didn't train much over the poly track. There wasn't turf racing where I was racing. I don't know. But there is evidence coming out that maybe toe grabs aren't the best idea on front legs, that they can contribute to injuries. I don't feel like an expert on this at all. I would have to look through all of the research and whatnot. I mean, I have been out of the training game for 10 plus years, so I don't want to speak on things that I am not an expert on.
Yeah.
So,
totally different world.
Yeah, a lot has changed, definitely. All right, Shawn, what else have we got going on?
Well, Picks with the Professor, always check him out. Pickswiththeprofessor.com and at Professor Sides on Twitter. Tomorrow we wrap up Horse Center with jockey agent and former jockey Eddie Joe Zambrano. And we even have video tomorrow of how his riding career ended. So
yes, stay tuned. That is a scary video, especially for me as a jockey's wife, but it happens. It's part of the game. It's, and he was very willing to share that with us and to share the journey that he's been on and the tough things that he's been through, which, very physically completely altered his life, but also emotionally, that's really, you can get PTSD from that kind of crazy situation. So definitely tune in to get a peek at the danger that these guys face on a daily basis.
And then I believe it's Rich and Charles tomorrow for the Daily Show tomorrow at 12. Not sure what track they're doing, but, Monday to Thursday every day, noon Eastern, they do a full card pick, and they've been giving out pick fours right and left. So always check them out. Yeah.
And that thing is going viral. Every time that I look on the channel, I'm like, wow, these guys are killing it.
Yes. People like the pick shows. So
yes.
And especially winners. And when they're handing out winners, people are going to tune in, and that's what they're doing right now. So
of course. So definitely tune in for that.
Yeah, so for all our shows, just subscribe to this YouTube channel and you'll get notifications right away. Yes. The likes, the subscribes, all that helps, and all that's very much appreciated. Makes all the hard work worth it.
And gives us a chance to create more content, to hopefully get more people involved, and maybe one of these days actually make a job out of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I put out today, too, was like an all about me section. If you want to check it out on Facebook and Twitter and you want to fill it out, I'll tell you where to send the email, and you can be featured online on a little section all about yourself. So
awesome.
Thought it would be something different. Nobody else is really doing it. We want to hear about other horse racing fans, how you got in, what you like, yada, yada, yada. So whether you're a worker, a fan, a gambler, whatever you are, if you want to fill it out, check it out.
Oh, yeah. We love our fans. We love all the comments that you guys put in. I mean, sometimes you bring up some really great things that neither one of us have thought of and just really add to the conversation. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all of the love you give us on social media. Please keep it up. And as always, we hope that we see you in the
winner circle.
Yes.